Seattle. I'm Dave Despain with Larry Myers and Bob Hanna. The first of two main events tonight. We're going to show you the highlights from the 125 Western Regional Championship point fair here. And let's set it up by looking at the stars coming in. The point standings show Jeremy McGrath on top. Won last week at Anaheim over his teammate, Buddy Antunez, who was second. Wiggins, Flowers, and Boland rounding out the top five in the points as they come into this feature event that will pay points toward that Western Regional Championship. The guy to watch for will be number one, McGrath, and you'd better look quickly because he will jump out front here and absolutely disappear. This is a riding clinic by the reigning champion. His teammate in that second spot, Buddy Antunez, gets bumped back into the pack. And now let's watch him. There is McGrath, and that is the style that carries him to a runaway victory here. This was a battle back in about third or fourth spot throughout the race. Antunez got second and never let go. Here's the story. Number 46 is Lance Smale, and number 69 is Kyle Lewis, and that's the race. See the different lines? Smale takes the bottom. Lewis rails around the top, blasts the hay bale out of the way, and says, I got to get around this guy, dives underneath, and fixes the position. Good job.
Well, one of the things that I like about 125s, David, you never know where they're going or what they're going to do. These are the youngsters, you know, they're trying to make a name for themselves. Actually, some of them are trying to determine whether or not Supercross is a way they can make a living or whether they want to make a living. Just like that. Look at Lance Smale. I think he just found out that if I'm going to make my living this way, that's not the way I want to do it. I want to keep it on two wheels. We need to go back and take one more look at that. Now watch Lance. He just kind of gets on the gas at the wrong time, shifts the weight the wrong way, and the more experienced rider may have saved that, but Lance just went over the handlebar, plants his face into that berm instead of the wheels, gets right back up, though, never even lost the position.
McGrath, meanwhile, maintaining his dominance out front. And with that, the focus shifts to the battle for fourth place. Smale, perhaps hurting a little bit, comes under pressure from factory Phil Lawrence going up around the outside. Again, the Kyle Lewis maneuver. Take the high line, try to set it up on the bottom. Is he going to get there this time? Well, a little bit of a collision. And look, the big beneficiary of that is number 135, Dana Wiggins, third ranked in the points, and he was in the right spot at the right time.
You know what I mean about the 125s? They're just all over the racetrack. They bounce, they rebound. Look at Smale's coming right back. He doesn't know that once you pass, you're supposed to stay back there, evidently.
He's not going to lay down and quit for anybody as he is now in the fourth position. Remember, this is a three-way fight. Fourth, fifth, and sixth at issue. Correct my call. Actually, factory Phil Lawrence is fourth. Smale is fifth, and he's under pressure from number 135, Dana Wiggins, who is in sixth spot. And the points are the issue. One position is worth a couple of points in the championship standings, so it's worth getting in there and digging. Number 27 comes into view, Tyson Boland, and as he comes blitzing through this traffic, I want to tell you a story. What kind of courage does it take to make passes like this on this kind of a racetrack? Tyson Boland and Jeff Hicks for the European Supercross went to a bank after the race to get their money. This is number 27 we're talking about. Watch the pass. The guy's got some courage. Bank robbers walked in with guns and were sticking up the bank. It's a true story. So how did Tyson Boland react? He said, Hicks, let's jump them. We can take these guys. Hicks said, you are crazy. Grabbed him by the arm. End of the story is Boland did not become a hero in Italy, but he did
live to ride Supercross another day.
Unfortunately so. Meanwhile, the leader out front, Jeremy McGrath, is gone. The would-be hero of the Italian bank robbery story finally met his match in Lance Smale. These guys had a heck of a battle, and it held them up a little bit. You're going to get a glimpse of a kid by the name of Damon Huffman here in a moment who proved to be the better of both of these guys. Here is the pass as Boland comes up the inside, gets the better line through the jump, puts Smale away, and they are en route to 6th and 7th place, respectively, in the main event, but it was really the best battle of the night. And then from behind, here comes Damon Huffman to catch these guys, the yellow motorcycle. That is the Suzuki of Huffman, who is the new member of that team. He comes up, passes both of these guys, and claims 5th place, which undoubtedly makes his new employers happy. The kid is just 16 years old. Who knows? Next year, he might be the Jeremy McGrath of this 125 division.
Everyone would like to be the Jeremy McGrath. This kid has really set the Western Regional Championship Series on fire. He is number one, defending champ. Hottest thing going on a 125 right now. Should be a great outdoor national championship series.
2 wins in a row, and for the second week in a row, Buddy Antunez comes home second, and they are teammates on the Peak Hunt. So again, the boss is happy with those guys. Kyle Lewis, Phil Lawrence, and Damon Huffman rounding out the top 5. We'll take a look at the rest of the top 10. It's Boland, Smale, Wiggins, Flowers, and Neal. Let's go to Bob Hanna with the winner.
Jeremy McGrath, fantastic ride tonight and last weekend. Are you going to make a habit out of this winning?
Well, I hope so. You know, I want to make a habit of this as much as I can. You know, next year I got to ride the 250 class, a lot more stiffer competition, and you know, I just want to make the best of this year and, you know, graduate in the 250s next year.
It looks like the 125 class is not a lot of competition for you anymore. Are you looking forward to the 250 class?
Yeah, I sure am. You know, the 125 class is very good for experience and stuff, but, you know, I'm really looking forward to riding the 250.
I don't think the 250 riders are looking forward to racing against you next year. You're looking great. Good luck.
Thanks. You know, I hope they're not looking forward to it.
Tell you what, between Jeremy McGrath, the Western Regional standings leader, and Brian Swink, who's already won a 250 heat race here tonight, I think the future talent lineup is pretty impressive in the sport of Supercross. We'll be back with more from the Seattle Kingdome right after this. What we've all been waiting for, 250 main event time, the championship battle, the 4th of 16 races to crown the AMA Camel Supercross King for 1992. 30 seconds or less from the drop of the gate. And Larry, again, the question about that hole shot. Bradshaw's had 2 in a row. Can he get one tonight?
Dave, we're going to find out. That gate is about to drop.
One of the most exciting moments in motorsports, the start of a Supercross race, and sure enough, Bradshaw gets to the first turn first, and sure enough, his teammate Doug Dubach is on the ground in the first turn again. Not the first time this year. We've seen that misfortune from the doctor. This is bad news for the rest of these guys. It is number 4, Bradshaw, and number 8, his teammate, Emig, up front, and that means he's got a teammate between him and the rest of the pack. A look at Jean-Michel Bale, number 1, and number 3, Mike Kudrowski, way back in the traffic. Cooper is 3rd. Stanton is 4th.
I think if you take a look at the lineup the way it is right now, Dave, we have Bradshaw out front, then back a ways, we're looking at Stanton and Bale. And I think we can safely say that they are the 3 fastest riders on the racetrack. So even now, if Bale and Stanton work into the number 2 position, if they ride just as fast as Bradshaw, unless Bradshaw makes a mistake, we're looking at the race right now. That's going to be it.
Cooper is trying valiantly to get around Emig. One of the knocks on Emig in a couple of previous races. Ooh, there's the number 2 machine coming right up alongside. Stanton is charging. And that's what he hasn't done much of. Cooper retaliating. Right. Great race.
Cooper, unbelievable. I don't know how he held on to that motorcycle. There he goes again. Cooper is all over the racetrack trying to get around anyone. I don't think he even knows who's there. He just says, there's somebody in front of me. I'm going to make the pass. Stanton is riding extremely well, but no place to go. Look at Cooper.
Once again, you've mentioned this problem before. Cooper is not only trying to get around Emig, but he's also trying to protect himself from Stanton. Here's the kind of advice they get from their crews. Push, go for it, gas it, race, charge, do something, get around somebody. That's Mike LaRocco's dad right there. And LaRocco, of course, charged to victory in the series opener. I don't know how they see those signs where they're in the middle of this kind of a battle.
Dave, let's go back and take a look at some action earlier. Watch Guy Cooper right now. Look at this. Bam! Hits the hay bale, keeps right on going. Remember I said Damon Bradshaw out front? That's pretty much the race. Cooper knows that. Cooper wants to get around Stanton. Look at this. Here he goes. He'll do anything he can to keep Bradshaw from getting away. Now, that's what Stanton should be doing, but he's not. And Bradshaw is, he's going to be the benefactor. He's going to be gone.
And, of course, he has a teammate in Jeff Emig, number 8, between him and all the challengers. And I guarantee you they're all going to claim that Emig held him up. And that's the reason they couldn't catch Bradshaw.
And I'll guarantee you that Emig is just fighting for his life. And he wants a piece of that lead just as bad as they do.
He's been having a great season. He led Orlando for a long time. Now he's back up front again. He just needs that consistency. Again, he's a youngster. He's up out of the 125 class. This is his first year on the 250. You keep Jeff Stanton behind you. I don't care what Stanton says after the race. You're doing your job.
I think it's a cutting your teeth factor. Stanton is getting the drives around the outside, the inside, looking for places to pass, and Emig is holding him off. And that's what he's out there for. That's why Team Yamaha, Keith McCarty, wants him there. They don't expect him to win. They expect him to learn. And what better learning experience can you have than holding off the champ?
But this also, as Stanton comes up the outside, this may be it. He's got the move. He's got the line. As they come down into the left-hand turn, he is out front of Jeff Emig. Makes the move he needs to. Stanton Stanton goes into the second spot. You can see it took him about a lap of working on Emig to get around him. That's what Bradshaw was talking about in that interview about the racetrack.
Not to dwell on this, Dave, but Yamaha hopes, Keith McCarty, the team manager, hopes that when he was passed, when Emig was passed, he hopes that he learned something right there, and maybe next time it won't be quite that easy.
So Emig will try to hang on to Stanton. In the meantime, Bradshaw, for the third week in a row, has broken away and is in danger of turning this race and indeed this series into a one-man show. He has just absolutely dominated in the last two races. We talked about the problems that he's had in the qualifiers, but when we get to the main event, he's got no problem at all.
Well, this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier, Dave. Bradshaw is out front. He's all by himself, and he has a 3 or 4 second lead, depending on traffic. And if the two riders are riding equal, Bradshaw has to make some kind of a mistake for Stanton to catch him.
Brian Lunas gives him the sign. Be smooth. A 3-second lead for Damon Bradshaw. We'll be back in the Kingdom to see if he can hang on to
it. To some, the world just looks better from a different angle.
This action on Speed World. Battle for third in this AMA Supercross Championship race. Jeff Emig, number 8, attacked by number 5, Guy Cooper. Cooper had an earlier altercation with Jeff Stanton that provided most of the thrills. Here's an inside move. Emig says, I'll close that door, Guy. I'm not going to leave it wide open like I did for Stanton. And so they continue, the youngster Emig and the veteran Cooper, 30 years old.
Cooper has to have ridden at least twice as far as everyone else on this racetrack. He has been all over. Look at him. He goes way up high, squirts to the inside, nowhere to go. I'll tell you, that's not going to bother Cooper a bit. He'll try anything he can looking for new lines, as he knows one rule, a cardinal rule in Supercross: you cannot pass if you follow.
44,000 people looking on and cheering for Guy Cooper as he continues his assault on Jeff Emig. And again, it's the classic kid versus the veteran. And again, it is Cooper going up to the top, and he just can't find a way around. And I tell you, after a while, it's got to get a little frustrating.
I think it definitely does get frustrating. Whoa! And it makes for that kind of a move as he just railed around the outside. He was sideways in the air, made the pass on Emig. What a move on the part of Guy Cooper. I'm just amazed that, not at the move, I'm amazed that he held on to it when he landed.
Well, you expect those young, fearless kids to make that kind of move. Cooper is fearless, but he's no kid. I must correct myself, though. He's not 30. He won't be 30 for another 3 weeks. Here is Jeff Matasevich, number 9. He is in 6th spot. Larry Ward is 7th. Whoa, not for long. Jean-Michel Bayle jumps past Larry Ward, takes over that 7th spot, sets his sights on Jeff Matasevich. Bayle, again, the Charger, has come from almost dead last on the first lap.
And this is on the track where riders were complaining it's hard to pass. Are you putting me on? Bayle's showing him a lesson. Look at there, around the inside this time. He finds a line, and we talked about that earlier. You can't pass if you follow the guy in front of you, so Bayle just goes where they aren't. What a move.
This guy does not have that problem. There's never anybody in front of him, the way things have been going recently. Damon Bradshaw can have any line he wants at the Kingdom. He is out front by an interval that is pretty well stable at 5 to 6 seconds. He's not pulling away from Jeff Stanton, nor is he letting Stanton get anywhere close. Bayle is the Charger, and he is charged to the rear wheel of Jeff Ward, who had a hard crash in practice tonight. In fact, skipped the lap of honor that they've had at all the stadiums to commemorate his retirement. He was definitely in doubt for the rest of the evening. He did not get out of the heat, came back, made it out of the semi. He's 5th in the main event, which is pretty decent given the injury, but he is now under a lot of pressure from Jean-Michel Bayle. Look out when he gets that inside line. He's tough. He's got it. He's gone. Bayle is into 5th.
Hate to keep harping on this point, but Ward thought he was coming to the inside. He looked over his shoulder, and Bayle just went to the outside and blew right by him.
When his heart is in it, there is nobody quite like Jean-Michel Bayle, who is now 5th and headed for the front. Emig is 3rd, and everybody's chasing Damon Bradshaw. It happened 2 weeks ago at Houston, and it's happened again here tonight. He struggled in the heats and dominated in the main. What's the story, Damon?
Well, the qualifiers and all that really, didn't go very well for me. I got some bad starts, and, in the main event, I got a start and pulled out all the stops, and I rode the way I should, and, that's happened with me before. I've had bad qualifiers in the main event. I'd be a different person, different rider, and that's what happened last week.
So if there is any inconsistency in the performance of Damon Bradshaw this year, it has been that. Those heat race struggles, though, certainly don't show up in either the main event results or in the point standings. He is en route to his 3rd straight victory in 4 races, and he definitely is threatening to make this series a runaway. Bale chasing Emig. This was inevitable. At the rate that Bale's going, he's going to catch somebody up front. That race is for 4th. Bradshaw is the leader. The man you've not seen for a while is Jeff Stanton, all alone in 2nd. We'll be back to see if Damon can hang on. Announcers task Larry to make this exciting and dramatic and build all sorts of suspense into this race. Perhaps you can do that with this lead here that Damon Bradshaw's built.
I don't think anyone could do that unless we go back to the battle for the number 4 position. Now, this is dramatic. Jean-Michel Bale on a racetrack where they said, oh, and Bale tried to go to the inside of Emig, and he goes down, hit the hay bale. Let's take another look at it, Dave. Watch him. Oh, there it is. The 2 riders collided. Emig come over and took the wheel away, or rather Bale ran into him. No place to go. Hit the hay bale, fell down. Now, he has not lost a position on the track.
Bale into the bales. Bradshaw still the leader. Here's the interval. Back to the 2nd place man, Jeff Stanton. He has had a pretty uneventful night since passing Emig. I believe it was on lap 2 to get into this 2nd spot. He'd like to get up there and do some business with Bradshaw, but there's going to be no catching him. And I got to think after some of the exchanges in the past between these two that this frustrates Stanton.
I'm sure it does, but as we pointed out, we're looking at 4 to 6 seconds. Stanton is riding 100%. Bradshaw out front is riding 100%, and there just absolutely is no way that Stanton is going to catch up. Bradshaw's not making the mistakes that he has made in the past. He's riding awfully good, Dave.
This is Bale, who held on to 4th spot after the Emig incident, and in fact got up so quickly that he is back on Emig's tail, and Emig in the meantime has closed up on Cooper, so this has become a 3-rider battle. Now, Bale looking down to the inside of Emig again. He got in trouble doing that once before. This time he waits till after the corner and makes the pass.
Jean-Michel Bale is the smartest, the best rider in the world. I'm going to say that with no reservations, and he just proved why.
Tell Damon Bradshaw that after the race. Guy Cooper is 3rd, and now under pressure from Jean-Michel Bale. Indeed, Bale dominated this series last year. After Stanton was injured, it had been a 2-man battle up to that point. This year, both Stanton and Bale have struggled a little bit. Bale now trying to catch Cooper, while Stanton runs alone in 2nd spot. And Cooper, after a spectacular early race, has kind of settled into a groove now, but he's about to come under pressure. He's going to have to dig back down and come up with some of those tricks.
I have to wonder, with all the pressure that was on Cooper and all of the moves that he was making. Recall, he was on the outside, he was on the inside, he was off the motorcycle, back on again. I think that probably Cooper is a mighty tired young man right now.
See if he can stand the pressure from Jean-Michel Bale. Oh, indeed, Bale just dives by, no problem at all. And I think, indeed, Cooper just wasn't a physical match for JMB in that pairing right there. So Bale is now the 3rd place man. And remember, he was unofficially, by our count, about 17th at the beginning of this race, officially 11th at the end of the 1st lap. He has charged. He has passed people.
Well, now we have a runaway in 1st, a runaway in 2nd, and I don't think anyone is going to come up and challenge Bale. So we're pretty much decided on the first 3 positions in this one, Dave. It looks to me like it's Bradshaw, Stanton, and Bale all the way.
Well, I'm not convinced Bale can't catch Stanton. We'll find out when we come back to the Seattle Kingdom. Bale has provided most of the fireworks this evening. The defending... Whoa, wait a minute. We got Jeff Ward on the sidelines. Ward has crashed. He had been running in the top 5 early tonight after what has been already a crash-marred evening. He's been on the ground a 2nd time. And up front, Damon Bradshaw continues to ride the Bradshaw Zephyr, headed for his 3rd consecutive victory in the series, and a point lead that for this juncture in the series is going to be pretty impressive indeed.
I think we should point out, Dave, we had a shot of Jeff Ward's motorcycle. Now, Jeff Ward was working his way back toward the pit area, and he's not laying down beside that bale or tucked down inside the bale. He did crash and has gone down. In fact, there is Jeff Ward. Now, he's working his way back through the pits. He apparently is all right, but he did go down kind of hard.
We'll send Bob Hanna down to see if he can get a word with the former Supercross champion. In fact, the man who has broken most of the records in modern American motocross and will retire at the end of this year. And at the other end of the spectrum, the man many feel will be the record breaker of the future, 19-year-old Damon Bradshaw, headed for apparent victory here at the Kingdom. Let's go back trackside. Bob Hanna is with Jeff Ward.
Jeff Ward, obviously not your best night in Supercross racing.
No, sure wasn't, Bob. I mean, in practice, I went down real hard, put a hole in my finger, tore my knee up, my ankle. Went into the qualifier, got a bad start. I couldn't push it because I didn't feel comfortable. Semi went okay. I felt pretty good. And then the main event, I was up there running for top 5 and made one more mistake, landed on the hay bales, and ended over the bar.
Was it a difficult track to pass on?
It was very difficult. Just one line, and they got to start making them better tracks for passing. Otherwise, it's going to be runaways every time. I mean, one guy gets between you and the leader. By the time you get by them, they got 5 seconds. The race is done.
Well, good luck next weekend. Hope you feel a little better.
I hope so too, Bob. Thanks.
He's still got a smile on his face, and that's good to see. Here is Jeff Stanton. He has not mounted a charge at Damon Bradshaw. I have the sense that he's going to settle for second spot tonight and concern himself with the points that he'll get and with trying to figure out a strategy for the rest of this season, because he knows that Damon Bradshaw is the man he's got to beat. I wonder if he doesn't remember that magazine article a year ago when Damon Bradshaw said, yeah, Jeff Stanton has to go watch me in practice to figure out where the fast lines are.
You know, when Bradshaw did that last year, he paid the price because Jeff Stanton hung the article up in the back of his truck and then promptly went out and put it to Bradshaw several races. Now, you'll notice this year, Bradshaw is not talking that way, but maybe Stanton ought to go back and reread that article. Maybe it'll inspire him a little bit.
Bradshaw has been pretty quiet, comparatively speaking, for Damon, who is not afraid to speak his mind.
Well, he's letting the Yamaha do the talking for him is what he's doing right now.
We'll be back for the finish of the Seattle Kingdome Supercross. After this timeout, Bradshaw, Stanton, Bale, Cooper, and Emick. The Top Kingdome, 44,000 people are anticipating the checkered flag, which is just about a lap away. For Damon Bradshaw, he moves around Stefan Everts, putting him a lap down. Now, that's a world champion that he is passing to put him a lap down in 20 laps. That is the kind of dominance that Damon Bradshaw has demonstrated this year. Larry, I think the question has to be, when is somebody going to stop this freight train?
Well, earlier, Dave, we had addressed that particular question, and I had been making all kinds of forecasts that Stanton had not caught fire yet. Jean-Michel Bale was still coming, and I guess it's time to retract those things, because I'm looking at Bradshaw, and I'm seeing a guy that's dominating, who's full of confidence, and I don't know that anyone is going to stop him the rest of the year. This guy is unbelievable.
Hanna talked about it at the top of the show. He said those guys have got to go out and beat him if they're going to break the psychological advantage, the stranglehold that Damon Bradshaw has on this series. And the result, Bradshaw goes out and blitzes to his 3rd straight win. He's done it again in the Kingdome. Damon Bradshaw dominates. Jeff Stanton settles for a solid 2nd place here this evening. And as amazing as Damon Bradshaw's win streak is, the guy who dazzled me tonight was Jean-Michel Bale, coming from virtual last place on the 1st lap to finish 3rd this evening. All the fans on their feet saluting the 19-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina, who has led 59 of the last 60 laps in Supercross competition. Stanton 2nd, Bale 3rd, Cooper 4th, and Emick rounding out the top 5. Run them down through 10. LaRocco, Matasevich, Dubach, Ward, and Kudrowski. Let's go down to the floor of the Dome. Bob Hurricane Hanna with Damon Bradshaw.
Damon, 3 in a row, Houston, Anaheim, Seattle. Do you feel with this win that you are the man to beat in 92?
Well, I've been hoping that the last 3 years, and it really hadn't happened for a championship, but I feel really good this year. Everything's going good. My mechanic, Brian Lennis, all the Team Yamaha, all my sponsors, and me and my bike have been working really good together, and that means a whole lot.
You look great to us, Damon.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Bradshaw's 3rd victory runs his point advantage to 13 over Jeff Stanton, who in turn leads Jean-Michel Bale by 3. Cooper and LaRocco are 4th and 5th. The celebration is underway. Once again, Damon Bradshaw is the star of the show. Larry Myers, your thoughts after 4 of 16 races?
Well, the obvious thought has to be, is anyone going to stop Damon Bradshaw? We've asked that question a couple of times. And the question can be answered right there. One of those two guys have to do it. They have to regroup. Can they? That's the question.
Well, we'll find out next week as the series moves on to San Diego, California. Until then, I'm Dave Despain for Larry Myers and Bob Hanna. We'll see you next week.